GovBD is a federal CRM designed for government contractors. Built by REI Systems, who has been working in the federal market for more than 3 decades, this system has contributed to sustained growth over that time. We built the system based on the Shipley sales methodology, an industry gold standard method, and included our own expertise in the solution. It's a pre-built app on the Salesforce platform, which is quick to start up and equipped with all the tools needed to immediately ramp up your business development team to manage the federal procurement process. We have worked with hundreds of small to mid-sized businesses, establishing sound business processes and allowing organizations to start making pursuit decisions based on data. Some common themes that impact federal business development teams' ability to effectively manage their pipeline and overall capture success. First is the manual data entry included to make the updates to opportunity data, uncertain progress towards captures and long-term pursuits, lack of real-time visibility making it nearly impossible to have confidence in the pipeline health. By implementing GovBD, organizations have been able to improve their communication, increase general awareness to BD and proposal responsibilities, and improve the overall success of their BD shop. We are enabling teams to decrease the time it takes to manage their pipeline and get back to the day-to-day sales activities expected from these teams, leading to higher win rates.
The GovBD app was created to alter the way Salesforce was originally designed to give federal BD teams an off-the-shelf customized solution on day one. We changed the normal configuration of Salesforce, widely known as the world leader in cloud computing for B2B and B2C sales teams, and made it make sense for the government contractors' needs. The navigation bar across the top is available throughout the solution to access any of your data regardless of where you are in the system. First, we created an exhaustive list of the entire federal government, which was designed based on SAM.gov agency structure, which includes nearly 2,000 accounts, which are preloaded as part of the app. First off, this can be adapted to accommodate changes in the government structure over time. And also, there is a state shell and a commercial shell that's provided out of the box that can be updated to show the state and local governments or commercial organizations that you may be working with. Now, this is also color coded for organizations or the buying organizations that you may be working with. Green is a current customer, so that's where we've won business. Actively pursuing is where we have open opportunities, and blue signifies organic growth. We can go one layer deeper by opening up each one of these departments, agencies, or offices, and you can get a little bit further down into the offices themselves. So we have a department, agency, office layer. You're also able to dive deeper into these organizations, right? So in this case, USAID. And I can get some basic information with this detail page here on the right, or I can go directly to the agency page, which gives you some more information with acronyms and websites, phone numbers, but also related information. So this is something that you're going to see across the application itself, is that we also give what we call the 360-degree view, one of the major benefits of using a CRM solution, where you can see all of the related opportunities that are associated to USAID and all of the sub agencies, those agencies and offices that are in that list. But also, as you're working with certain individuals, we'll be collecting all those contacts along the way, as well as all your partners and competitors that you've worked with and contract vehicles. So you can see exactly what that particular agency looks like from an organizational perspective, and have access to all that information as you're working through the list. The next concept that we introduced was this idea of teaming or having partners that you may be working with. What we found while we were implementing Salesforce for many organizations was that they were adding partners into what we would call the account list, or what we've created here, the agency list, because those organizations we may be working with or competing against or whatever the case may be, but we needed a better way to track those organizations and keep them separate from the agency list. So what we created was this partner list, And this is going to be all the organizations that you see in the market that you may want to work with. You may be a prime and they're your sub, or maybe you are a sub to them, because we all know how crazy that could be in the industry, where today one organization you're working with and tomorrow perhaps competing against sometimes. So this is just a list of those organizations. You could say we're collecting some basic information. I'll just create a new record and show you what that would look like. So for organizations that are trying to beef up this information, we can collect all that key information on, socioeconomic categories, websites, phone numbers, the capability areas if you want to keep track of addresses. So this is an easy way to track all that information, keep it on hand. So when you go into your partner list, you're able to search by a couple pieces of criteria, right? So you can do it by name, but also by all those socioeconomic categories, right? So if I need an 8A to partner with, or if I'm looking for a particular capability area, right, I'm able to search this list and find those organizations that you may want to be working with. Now, this gets brought into the opportunities, and I'll show you that in just a moment, is how we actually involve these partners and how can we track multiple teams and keep track of all those competitors and all that. So I'll show you that on the opportunities. This is actually where a bulk of the information is going to be generated, tracked, altered, edited. So it's really kind of the driver of the application itself. You will see that we have brought the filters back in. So again, all of the pages have that type of capability to drill down to specific information based on a particular record type. You saw the way that we did that with the partners, but now you can see it with the opportunities. There's a couple of fields here, and you can use these search fields or the pick lists to find information that's specific to the information that you're trying to reach. If I start to type within this box, you'll see that the autofill feature exists there. So as you start to type maybe an opportunity name, you're going to drill right down to it, and we can search for that particular opportunity and go directly to it. I wanted to show you a little bit more fleshed out opportunity specifically to relate back to the teams aspect of this that we just talked about. So I'll go to this Barbados youth justice activity opportunity and give you a quick view of what an established opportunity looks like, some of the information that we track with it and some of the functionality. And then we'll jump over and talk a little bit about the configuration and the way that that's handled. First, you see that there's a status bar or a progress bar. So this is actually a way to update the staging. We use an 11 stage process out of the box from 0 to 10, and they're all just kind of labeled pretty standardly from the Shipley process as mentioned before. But if I wanted to update the stage, so say I'm having a BD team meeting and I want to say, this is actually moved from bid submitted to a Q&A, or maybe we have a demo or something of that nature coming up, then I could actually just go ahead and update that from this section here. So you kind of get an idea of where this opportunity fits visually in your pipeline as opposed to just a data field or something of that nature. We'll talk about all the different fields that we're working with as part of the out-of-the-box configuration, but I wanted to connect back to the teams. So we do have the teams module here, and this is actually where you'll keep track of all of the information that pertains to not only your organization with my status here. Are you incumbent prime? Are you the sub? Is this part of a JV? Or the other organizations that you may be working with or competing against. And you can see that we can keep track of some pretty basic information about that relationship for this opportunity. Who's incumbent, who's prime on the team, do we have NDAs, TAs? If you get down into it, you would like to keep track of the work share for each one of those team members. And we can also loop in contacts, right? So this is a nice way to see what that type of relationship is with Christopher. So if I open up their record, I'll go directly to that because it's a hot link there. I just opened it in a new tab, and we'll see all the different information related to that particular contact is where I've seen them in the various opportunities or what type of relationship that we've had with this individual over time. So if you need to meet with that individual or have some sort of communication, hey, I need to talk to them about these multiple opportunities, or say, hey, we did work with you on an opportunity previously and kind of build that relationship over time. Now we're back on the opportunity landing page, and I wanted to create a new opportunity record just to show you what that might look like. On all of our pages across the application, you're going to see the new record button here on the right-hand side. And this would be creating a new opportunity in this scenario, but this would be found across the system to do a new contact or a vehicle or a partner. So in this scenario, I'll go ahead and click Create New, and you'll see that we've siloed a couple of these types of information. So the overview will cover information like of course, the name, but opportunity types, market segments, your agency, the win probabilities and bid probabilities, also business units. If you have some sort of organizationally based segmentation, then you'd be able to identify each one of those, who essentially is the owner of that opportunity, and then also the stage. So as you're going through, you'll see that we do have the base configuration. As mentioned, it is an 11-step process loosely based off the Shipley process. It is configurable to accommodate the language that you all are using internally. Because some folks are saying phase, some are saying stage, some have, 15 steps, some have 9, so this is all configurable. And the same thing with all of the fields within the opportunities themselves is that you'll see all the pick lists. It's easy to create fields and make sure that you're collecting all of the information that you need to have to make your business decisions. The contract details is a little bit more oriented to, the price type, socioeconomic categories, the values, and the schedule. One thing to point out here is a very key piece is that you'll see two revenue values. One is what we call the total contract value, which everybody is familiar with. That's where you would get from your marketing source, whatever that may be. And then the other is what we call the expected firm value. And this is a value that would be created by the BD team at your organization to explain exactly what the takeaway for your organization is for a win on the opportunity. As mentioned, we take into consideration that there are maybe a prime on a team or you're a sub on a team, which would change what that value is. So in this case, I can put 10 million, and then for demo's sake, we can put maybe this is 5 million, right? So we're maybe a sub or something of that, or we've got some sort of work share that's already been defined. Our period of performance is defined in months. It comes with the default of 5 years, and we can configure that based on whatever you would be interested in seeing. And then we've got some dates down here. So we've got some RFP dates. So these have a little bit of a nice functionality. They'll pull up a calendar when you're looking at that. Your proposal due dates. So maybe it'll be next Friday, and then award date somewhere down the line, maybe at the end of the month if you're so lucky, right? So we'll just do this for demo purposes. So the reason I bring all this up is because the revenue in the system is driven by the expected firm value, the period of performance, and this project start date. So one thing that I didn't do is fill out the project start date because it's often not exactly known. So in this scenario, I can leave it blank and it will actually automatically fill in because it's going to be the award date plus 90 days. And that's another configurable field. So if we want to change that value, a lot of folks just want it to be the same as the award date, maybe 30 days ahead of time. And we could always change that as part of the configuration of the system. There is also the ability to define required fields. So in this scenario, I missed two fields, but what's going to happen is the system's going to tell you where it is, what field it is, and that I've got to enter a value here. So those are my errors. So I'll go back to my overview and I will fill in your market segment and then also the lead organizations, that's your business unit, technology perhaps, and we'll put this in as a training opportunity. So now I can go ahead, since I filled those pieces of information in, I can fill that out and save the opportunity. Now that we've saved the opportunity, we have a similar page that we saw previously, but I wanted to go through a couple of these other pieces of information before we move on. Is that on the opportunity, we have a number of pieces of related information which are very important. You'll see recommended partners by socioeconomic categories and NACE codes. But most specifically, you're going to get your opportunity projections. And this is based off of those three components that I just mentioned, the expected firm value, period performance, and the project start date. So it automatically filled that field in with the project start date. And when it's done is it has equally distributed the expected value across that period of performance. So that's what you're going to see here. The weighted revenue is controlled by the win probability. So I can go back into that opportunity and update the win probability. So we can set it up as 50%, resave it, and automatically that information is also going to be updated. So for each one of those years, you get that full revenue or the weighted value. This is all reportable through the Salesforce reporting engine, but we also have onboard insights and dashboards that are going to be pulling all this information automatically for you and aggregating it across the entire system. So I'll show you that now is if we visit the launch tab, which I've got open here, is some of the charts and functionality that you get right when you log into the system. And that's why I let you see some of the ways that the information is being populated before I showed you this, is because you wanted to see where this information is coming from before you can kind of understand, why it's here and what type of benefit it'll bring for the team. So we have put some interactive dashboards together here, and this is going to show your active pipeline by your agencies or by status. So we've talked about that agency list. We can see exactly how many opportunities are in your pipeline, what stage they're in, and similarly, you have that interaction for your active pipeline is saying, okay, I've got 47 opportunities that are unqualified. What are they? And how do I get to them very, very simply just by clicking on one of these links here or go directly to the opportunity. Salesforce is also known for having a very good event tracking system. So we've pulled that in for tasks and meetings. And so this is essentially that dashboard for the individual that is logged in and need to make some sort of update to these. So you can take quick action without having to dive deep into the system. I can go ahead and take action on this just from the front page. And I could say, maybe this is updated to completed or in progress, whatever the case is. So I can make these updates on the front page just by logging into the system, which makes, taking care of those activities, the burden of keeping track of what a BD individual may be doing from a day-to-day perspective and making that easy for those updates to happen. This also brings in one of the integrations that we have. It's also a Salesforce connector with Outlook and Gmail, where you can actually create tasks, you can create meetings, you can take action on these just through your inbox. And that's something I'd be more than happy to show you in live if you have interest in seeing that as well. So we slide down here. One of the neat things that we've found that our clients are really appreciative of is that we put together this launch page calendar. And what it is, it's an aggregation of all the key dates and action items that may be found in the system. So you can see your tasks or meetings in a calendar view. But really what the purpose of this is for folks to see those RFP dates, proposal due dates, and award dates in a timeline where they can actually get an idea of, where are these happening? What's my responsibility from a day-to-day perspective? Should I be engaged with the proposal team because of this upcoming, proposal due date or upcoming RFPs? Do I need to get my internal team together? So this is a nice way to do that. It's downloadable, so you can push this out to a PDF, share it with your team. Especially handy for folks that may or may not have a license. You could always send that out to them, just to give them a basic idea of what those responsibilities are across months or weeks or whatever the case might be. And the last piece here is the Insights tab. There's a lot of time that we could spend here, but really the system was designed to make accurate reports and accurate dashboarding. So we wanted to put together a set of dashboards that are commonly found in the industry and would provide you a reflection of what the data looks like on day one. So as we start to maybe do a data migration for you, you start to use our integrations with, like GovBD and start to populate all this information. What does that pipeline look like today, right now? And this is what we've put together for you. You'll see that there's a couple of filters. We can segment by business units, segments, opportunity owners, dates, and then I'll give you a quick rundown of, what does this really look like and how is this going to benefit you? This is really the return on your effort of using a system like this, because this is updated in real time. These are all downloadable, right? So if you wanted to see all that information across the system in some sort of slide deck or something like that, we can easily pull these out and put together a very nice looking document for your executive team or whatever the case is. So with that, I appreciate your time. Please feel free to reach out to us at govbdsales at reisystems.com. I'm happy to discuss what it looks like to get started, licensing, answering any questions about the power of Salesforce coupled with GovBD. And I hope to speak with you all soon. Thank you.